I'm Tamara Rinne, the wife of Carl Rinne. Our video recorder ran out of memory at Carl's celebration, so unfortunately you don't get to see just how the program ended that day. It's unfortunate because Melissa concluded her talk by singing a lovely Japanese song about connections and comings and goings. Several people got up to offer personal tributes, including Eleni Gutis, a young woman who stayed with us for a few years when she was attending the University of Michigan and became like a daughter to us. Other speakers included Diana LaFrance, one of Carl's caregivers from his assisted living facility, Rosemarie Rimson Brown, a member of the Church of God in Christ congregation from whom we bought the church, and Stu Simon, a colleague from an ethics discussion group Carl facilitated. Sadly, we can't recreate any of those presentations, but I spoke from prepared comments, so you can hear what I said. I'd like to share it with you now. Carl was the love of my life. The best way to describe it is through an ancient Greek story that explains how human beings were created. At first, the gods created a race of creatures that each had 2 heads, 2 sets of arms, and 2 sets of legs. After a time, these people decided they would battle the gods for supremacy. Naturally, they lost. In punishment, the gods split these creatures in 2, so that the resulting people each had only 1 head, 1 set of arms, and 1 set of legs. Their doom was to wander the earth forever, searching for their other half, their soulmate. I'm one of the lucky ones because I found my soulmate. Carl and I had a wonderful 15 years together. During the first 10, when Carl was healthy, we did more amazing things than I could have ever imagined possible. We bought the old church and converted it into our home. We hosted concerts and fundraisers there and did all kinds of goofy things and plays with our friends. We traveled to Greece, Russia, and Italy and had experiences that few other people ever get to do. Never in a million years would I have thought I would have such incredible times. But more than that, Carl gave me the unconditional love that allowed my heart to open and give back love in return. That's not something that I grew up knowing how to do. He enabled the better person within me to emerge. The last 5 years of Carl's life were the most heartbreaking I've ever experienced. Lewy body dementia is an insidious disease, in part because so little is known about it, that the patients and their caregivers can wander around for years trying to figure out what's wrong. We here in Ann Arbor are lucky because we have access to great health care. And fortunately, Carl was accurately diagnosed in a relatively short period of time. Lewy body dementia affects both the physical as well as the mental functioning of the person. That means that Carl went from being a fit, vital, enthusiastic person to someone whose body and mind could not respond the way he wanted them to. I say the way he wanted them to because people with Lewy body dementia, LBD, have periods of lucidity where they're aware of their situation and understand how their bodies and their minds have betrayed them. Despite this, Carl never stopped being Carl. Even in the assisted living facility, he retained the beautiful manners that had captured my heart the first time I met him. He routinely thanked the staff for helping him, an unusual occurrence in memory loss centers. He was known for the twinkle in his eyes and for his great sense of humor. One of my final favorite memories of Carl is when a couple of aides were helping him to get settled into his wheelchair. He was a real favorite of the staff, and at this point, he was very stiff. So the two aides were fussing quite a bit to get the pillows just right on his chair. I was standing there, and I said, "Geez, Carl, you've got two beautiful women helping you. Two beautiful women. What more could you ask for?" Carl slowly looked up at me and whispered, "3." As heartbreaking as Carl's last years were, I wouldn't have exchanged them for anything. I stopped working at the end of 2010 so I could care for Carl full time, and it was then that I really learned what true love is. It's the opportunity to be there, to really be there for someone you love, and to go through the frustrations and indignities of declining abilities together. It's the opportunity to savor the small joys of life. The happiness of seeing Carl's eyes light up when a friend came to visit, or his enjoyment of a spoonful of ice cream. Carl's experience with Lewy body dementia has changed my life. I now know that Alzheimer's is not a synonym for dementia, that there are many different types of dementias, each with different characteristics. And even though it's 2014, we don't know much more about Lewy body dementia than we did in 1905, when Dr. Frederick Lewy identified the little clumps of proteins in the brain that now bear his name. Some 1.3 million people in America have LBD. It's the second most prevalent form of neurodegenerative dementia after Alzheimer's. And yet, few people have ever heard of it. What's particularly scary is that many primary care physicians and even some neurologists are unfamiliar with it. So getting an accurate diagnosis is hard. There is no treatment or cure. Sadly, there's almost no research focused on LBD. I don't mean to be crass, but there hasn't been a rich or famous person who's brought awareness and money to the Lewy body cause, as Michael J. Fox has done for Parkinson's, or Christopher Reeves did for spinal cord injuries. We don't have a rich or famous person, but we do have a darn good one, Carl Rinne. That's why I, together with Carl's children, are launching the Carl Rinne Lewy Body Dementia Research Fund. Our goal is to raise $100,000, which would position us to receive matching money, dollar for dollar, from a dementia disease organization. As of now, we don't know what causes LBD, why it affects more men than women, why it runs its course so quickly, let alone how it can be treated, slowed, or possibly cured. Our little research fund won't find these answers, but at least it will get the ball rolling. We may not be rich or famous, but I do believe that individual people working together can achieve good things. Looking at Carl, you never have thought he'd be a candidate for an early death. He was physically fit, moderate in his eating and drinking, hadn't smoked in years. He did everything right. I hope that you'll join with Melissa and John and me in starting to tackle this disease so that others will not have to go through what Carl and I experienced. That's what I'm dedicating my life to. If you'd like to help, we are ready to accept checks as well as credit card contributions of any size. In the back of the room, Lori, whose father had LBD, and Robert, whose mom passed away last year of LBD, can assist you. Unless you think $100,000 is unattainable, let me say that thanks to some early efforts, we already have commitments of $45,000, so we're well on our way. Since Carl's celebration, we've generated close to $10,000 for the Carl Rinne LBD Research Fund from folks who attended the event and wanted to honor him. If you'd like to help out too, we're still collecting funds. Please visit the Lewy Body Dementia Association website at www.lbda.org. LBDA, like Lewy Body Dementia Association. When you get there, click on the donate button and you can make a tax-deductible contribution and indicate it is in memory or honor of Carl Rinne. You can also send a check to the Lewy Body Dementia Association, which is based in Atlanta, Georgia. Carl was a scholar and an educator, as well as a loyal friend. I can think of no better way to honor him and to make his death seem a little less pointless than to help build this research fund. I hope you'll think so too. Thank you.